What's going on, everybody? Today I'm going to be creating this abstract poster using Adobe Photoshop. I don't have any idea of the concept of this. I'm just going to go find some images, put them together, and see what I can do. Before we get started, please remember to hit like and subscribe, and also click the bell for notifications to be notified of all future content. Now, let's make a poster. So, I just finished recording this video, and I just want to give you a heads up. This started as an abstract art poster, but it actually turns into something completely different at the end of it, and I'll actually put that in the title as well, in terms of what it actually turned into, because it started as an abstract art poster, and it still kind of is, but it just evolved into something else entirely. So just wanted to give you a heads up on that. All right, so I'm here on one of my favorite websites of all time, not abstract, Unsplash. So I'm gonna go in here and just see if there's anything at all that just kind of jumps out at me. I really like this image right here. So basically what I do is whenever I do videos like this, I just go in, I grab really just any images that I see that I think that I could maybe, put some stuff together and make some really cool abstract imagery. So I usually start with, probably maybe 2 or 3 or something like that. That's interesting. And I just kind of go in and just bring them all into Photoshop and see what I can put together and see if I can put something interesting together. And I definitely encourage you to do the same, because you can make some really, really cool stuff. Okay, so let's bring all of these in here, and my most common size for posters like this is 18 by 24. However, I'm going to be doing 18 by 27 today, because I'm probably going to get this printed off for our guest bedroom, depending on how it turns out. We'll see what the wife says first. All right, so I'm going to copy and paste this into here, and since I'm going to be creating an abstract piece, doesn't matter, like the proportions don't matter, so we don't have to worry about that. I think that I am going to make this as the actual background, so I'm going to go ahead and merge those together, make this the background. And I like these colors right here. However, that can really tend to change when I do stuff like this. So the first thing I want to do with this is I'd like to go into the liquify tool, and this is a really cool tool if you've never used it before in Photoshop. Basically, there's a lot of different options in here, but I usually just I kind of leave it at the same settings. I use the forward warp tool, and you can just kind of grab different parts of it and everything and just make it really, really swirly type of effect. And I'll show you also when you're done with this how you can kind of go in and clean things up a little bit, because it leaves a lot of jagged lines and a lot of pixelation and things like that. But feel free to do some just really creative stuff here, and you can move it. You can move these pixels any way that you want to. Feel free to be creative and kind of leave a little bit of randomness in there too. Like I've got a lot of horizontal stuff going on, but you could even start down here and then go kind of like this and really pull those pixels up into this area, and then do the same thing from over here, and just make a really cool, like, molten lava type of effect. Just really, really cool tool in general, and you can do some cool stuff with it. And it works with just about any image that you do. So if you're starting with an image of like a person or even a couple of people or something like that, you can really generate something cool just out of the colors that are in that image. So I think I've said the word cool about 29 times now. So I'm just gonna, you know what? It's gnarly. How about that? How's that for cringe? All right, so I'm gonna hit OK. I'm pretty happy with that. And for this, I do like these colors, but I think I'm gonna add a hue and saturation layer above this, and probably dial those yellows to a different color. Actually, it may be registering as a red. So let's do this. Okay, there we go. I'm thinking probably like a teal or something like that, because that's kind of what's in our guest bedroom right now. Well, I guess we could do like a sea foam type of thing. I think that's pretty cool. All right, so let's turn up the saturation just a little bit, not too much. And then just kind of bring down the lightness down to about right there. I like that. Okay, so pretty happy with that. So now what we'll do is we'll just kind of add some additional layers and effects on top of this. And basically what this is going to do is this is not going to be the main piece of art for this. So I'm going to go ahead and desaturate this, just make it all black and white. And I think I'm also going to rotate 180 degrees, just to give it a little bit more of a visual interest, you know, like showing something coming down. And usually if you layer things over, usually the screen blending mode is provides you some really cool results. However, both of these graphics are very similar to each other, so like you definitely want to be careful and make it look like it's not just something laying on top of something else. So now that I'm playing around with this particular one may not work too well, but I do want to try a couple of different things. Divide is interesting. I actually think that that's probably the best one so far. But what you can also do, see, it could do something like that, luminosity. But I think I'm going to do divide and then duplicate it and then rotate it 180 degrees again. That way we can kind of fill in some of those areas on the top and the bottom. And it doesn't really matter that you've got, you know, the same thing, you know, showing but just rotated, because by the time you're finished with it, no one's really going to see it and no one's really going to pay attention to that anyway, so it's totally fine. And now let's grab this in. I think that this color right here, like these two colors, I love pink and purple together. So I think that just kind of layering these on top of it could produce some really cool effects. And let's just get an idea of what this could look like when we apply blending modes to this. That's pretty cool. I like that. So like those lighter areas are really showing, are really kind of knocking out, and those darker areas are remaining. So you know, when you do things like this, you know, it can, okay, I think that hard light is going to be where I end up with this, because that is just really, really cool. So, but I still want to, okay, I really like linear light too. So they're both very similar. Pen light is cool, but it's not as cool as the other ones. This kind of looks like, this right here kind of makes it look like, you know, like the deep end of a pool or something like that. You know, where those swimming pools, like how they'll kind of go down like to the deep end. That's interesting. Hue is cool, but I think that I am in love with, let's see, pen light. Pen light is really cool. Linear light is probably my favorite. And then hard light. Let's get all the way up close to see if there's a difference in the pixels and how these two are being affected. So hard light and then linear light. Okay, so linear light is actually going to give us a little bit more of a glow, and I like that. So I think I'm going to stick with linear light. Okay, and just as an experiment, I'd like to do the same thing that we did earlier. Okay, that is really cool. Lighten kind of gives it a little bit more of like a fog layer. So that's really nice. Lighter color is cool. Let's see. Difference is pretty cool too. Exclusion is nice. So when these are layered on top of each other and rotated, it kind of makes me think of like the Fortress of Solitude from Superman. So that's pretty cool. But I think that I'm just going to stick with this one here. So where is, okay, so it's in this layer right here. So what's really jumping out at me, and I don't want really anybody else to see this exact same thing that I'm seeing, but this looks like a face. And this guy looks super, super stressed or worried. He just looks worried. So let's go in and just kind of remove these elements right here. You know, just the things that look like eyes and a mouth. Okay, that's much better. Okay. So to give this a little bit more dimension, I think I'm going to go down to my background layer and go to filter, stylize, and then oil paint. And really what this does is it really helps to kind of clean up those lines that we left behind. You remember earlier I was talking about the jagged edges and everything that that Liquify can leave behind. So really it's just kind of cleaning up some of those jagged lines, that pixelation. And then we can do something kind of similar to these two layers. What I'd like to do is maybe add like a Gaussian blur. That way we can have a nice smooth type of effect. And I'd like to see what it looks like when we add it to all three of these layers. Okay, so that's still looking pretty cool. It still maintains the overall look. So when I look at this, I see, I don't know, it's kind of like, you know, like stepping down into a room, or maybe like a spaceship or something like that. You know, it's abstract, which is what I really like about it. So let's see. I really like all of this and all of these colors working well together. So what I'd like to do here is I'll add like a grain layer, because that's what I do. I add grain layers to just about all of my projects. We'll go to Camera Raw Filter, and then I think I'm going to do 100%, 100 amount on grain, and then take the roughness down. Well, I think we can take it to about 50%, and then that's good right there. And then we'll do a vignette of -25. Okay, so let's see what it looks like when we're all zoomed out. And now just use our blending modes to kind of blend that with the rest of our layers. And you want to make sure that that effect is clearly seen. And we are seeing a difference here. So if you see kind of in this area right here, there is some pixelation. You can tell that there's, like there were things that were enlarged, things that were changed. And then whenever you blend together certain layers, you can also get some pixelation there. But clicking on this grain right here will actually help to give a little bit more texture there. And then sometimes I like to do this as well. I like to add a layer of noise. And you don't really need too much. So we went with overlay last time. I think we should be able to do that again here. And that's good. Yeah. So I think this is good. Okay. So it's interesting. When I look at this, I think this could easily be a Shoegaze cover. So if you were to kind of cut it right here, do something like that. All right. So I think this video just went from making an abstract poster into making another Shoegaze album cover. So let's see. Last time I'm pretty sure I did My Bloody Valentine. This doesn't really work, at least in my opinion, with Slowdive, like as far as the artwork goes. But why don't we choose one of my favorites, which is Astrobrite. And something like this. This could easily be one of their album covers. Okay, and we'll just kind of bring it. Oops. Let's go all the way over and all the way down. There we go. Just bring this right here. And since I'm not feeling too creative with words today, we'll just make it a self-titled album. I can't really think of anything, because especially since I just came up with the idea of making it a Shoegaze album cover not more than a minute ago. So okay, that's nice, but it's definitely a little bit too. If we did something like this, I'm not trying to spend too much time doing this, but I still want it to be readable and make sure that it looks good. That's interesting. Okay. Sorry, I'm being quiet here. I'm just trying to focus and make sure that I can make this look the best that I can for the video. Okay, that's cool. I actually like how it's just slightly off center like that. And what if, I like saying what if we did it as a gradient instead? Make both of these opacity 100%. Select this color right here. It's pretty cool. All right. I'd like to grab like maybe one of these purple colors. Or no, I guess maybe black would probably work best. Or what if we just went back to solid? I think I'm just going to go back to solid. And then go maybe with okay, that's cool. I like the bluer color. Let's go a little bit closer to purple. There we go. Okay. That's looking cool. Okay, so Astrobrite, and we'll just say it's a self-titled album. How about that? Okay, so this started off as a abstract art poster, or as an abstract art poster, sorry, and it turned into pretty much out of nowhere into another Shoegaze album cover, because I just love these blues, these purples, and that random just spot of red in there that just really just kind of makes it. And I could easily see Astrobrite doing something like this. It looks very similar to their other album covers, but it's also very different from the rest of them. So, and also I'll go ahead and give a plug for Astrobrite. If you're into shoegaze and you've never listened to Astrobrite, definitely check them out. My favorite album of theirs is All the Stars Will Fall. I listen to it just about every single night before I go to sleep. It's actually the album that puts me to sleep. So it's just a fantastic album. It's a masterpiece of shoegaze. I call Astrobrite World 8 of shoegaze. So if you're into shoegaze, definitely check it out. If you've never heard of Astrobrite, you're missing out. Okay, I'm gonna stop rambling now. Here is my Astrobrite album cover. And I hope you like it. Let me know what you think of it in the comments. All right, well, thanks a lot for watching me make that poster that ended up turning into a Shoegaze album cover, just randomly out of nowhere. So that was a lot of fun, and I've always wanted to make something for Astrobrite, so I'm really glad that it turned into that. If you like this video, please hit like and subscribe at the bottom, and also click the bell for notifications to be notified of all new content. Thanks a lot for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.